This is gonna make some people mad. Looks absolutely do matter.
One thing you should know is your appearance is everything.
Subhuman is the lowest.
So subhuman's like you're not even a human, you're so chopped.
Yeah.
And then it goes human,
Then it goes low tier normie,
low tier normie,
mid tier normie. That's
Mid-tier.
average. High tier normie is above average. Chad light and Chad.
Chad, light, and Chad.
Yep, that's the rating scale.
If you're like better looking than other people, like if you go in a room when you're like just like you overshine them or something like this,
It's such a terrible phrase.
Yeah, for real. Bang. That's legit.
So the thing people don't know about climaxing is like you actually have salt in your tears. So what I do is I take the tears and I put it in my hair and it's almost like sea salt spray.
Something called the halo effect, right? And that's a horrible thing to have to overcome your whole life if you're not genetically well off.
I'm sure you know what Looksmaxxing is at this point. If you don't, it's basically the practice of improving your appearance, which on the surface sounds completely fine, but it has a dark side where people go to extreme lengths to look good, going as far as surgeries, drugs, bone restructuring. I went deep into this world, the philosophy, the techniques, the terminology like PSL scores, chads, and what I found running underneath all of it is this deep, almost sad insecurity. Looksmaxxing on the surface is a very good thing to do. In fact, I think everyone does it to some degree. There's certain things a person should do as a basic sign of self-investment that technically would fall under Looksmaxxing. Exercising and going to the gym is one of the few positive things that Looksmaxxing promotes, but even that gets corrupted, which we'll talk about later. There's lots of benefits such as improving your mental health and your confidence. So that's the healthy side of Looksmaxxing that I would actually encourage people to do. But then we get to the dark, weirder side of Looksmaxxing that does way more harm than good.
And then just like hit it.
Dylan, I have an idea, but I don't know if you'd be down.
As hard as you can.
Would you let androgenic bone smash?
Holy mog, dude. What?
When you're frauding or having the mindset that all that matters is looks and doing crazy things like bone smashing or surgeries, that's when Looksmaxxing becomes an obsession. The people that do this believe they have to do it in order to be attractive. They have low self-esteem and low confidence to not be able to accept their flaws and embrace being imperfect. Even worse, the methods some of these men do completely damage their bodies, and it starts becoming dangerous.
I'm someone who wants to be the best, right? And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there.
So you want to be 99th percentile at all aspects of life?
Absolutely.
Except maybe longevity.
Yeah, maybe not longevity.
Once you're in these communities and you go down the endless spiral of Looksmaxxing, it only gets worse for you. There'll always be another insecurity you have to fix, and it will become an endless, never-ending battle to maximize or retain your looks. Your mental health and your body will suffer. You'll constantly be evaluating and comparing yourself, and it will be a prison. In the Looksmaxxing community, they have tiers of attractiveness for people, ranging from sub-5s at the bottom being men who are very unattractive, and chads who are at the top, being the most attractive men, whom they believe live life on easy mode, and they can easily get any girl they want. They also think that if you're too unattractive, it's over for you and there's nothing you can do, which is just terrible to say to someone else, and everyone in the space casually does it to one another. On the comments of Looksmaxxing related TikToks, or even just regular videos, you'll frequently see these types of comments saying it's over if someone's not good looking, or they'll say you're coping if you believe otherwise, not thinking of the effect this can have on the other person's mental health. Especially since a lot of these people are just teenagers, and what this may cause them to do. Also no, it's not over if you're unattractive. Take a look at this site that recently came out called Omegle.
How did I get mogged by him? You're not mogging, bro.
Okay.
Ah! No! No! Get out!
Mogging, if you didn't know, basically means looking better than someone. And on this site, random people face each other in a battle of who mogs the other person. An AI scores your face against a stranger for who looks better.
Oh my.
This just goes to show how dehumanizing this trend becomes. They obsess over having the perfect face, using science and maths to determine the exact proportions and features you need in order to look good. This includes things like having hunter eyes, chiseled jawline, hollow cheeks, being tall, muscular, even being light-skinned, and they encourage men to seek these attributes. If you don't know who Clavicular is, he's basically the face of this whole Looksmaxxing scene. He's arguably the most controversial creator the internet has seen since Andrew Tate. Oh, and they're also both friends with each other. And he's only 20 years old. Recently he was arrested for instigating a fight between two women, but he's had many other run-ins with the law. A while back he ran over a crazy fan with a Cybertruck, and the person did survive by the way. He also fired shots at a dead alligator unlawfully, and another time he had a fake ID and carried prescription drugs and was arrested. Clavicular is super obsessed with looks and doing whatever it takes in order to ascend. When Clavicular was in court, all everyone was focused on was the judge who was mocking him. When your whole mission in life is to look better than everyone else, the times where someone happens to look better causes the entire community to go insane. Like the time Clavicular wasn't on an interview with 60 Minutes, and he ended up walking out before it even ended.
Don't try to go down that line of questioning with me, alright? 'Cause I'm not doing any political.
I'm not
testimony.
married, Clav, but I was simply only asking
Maybe you
because
gotta-
obviously
maybe you
you've
gotta
been filming
Looksmaxxing.
with these people.
So I could teach you about Looksmaxxing then. Maybe you could switch that up. But thanks for the time. Appreciate the interview. All right.
His main belief is that the standards are very high for men, so he should do whatever it takes to look good, using science to maximize his looks, but at the cost of his health.
Well, what I want to say to that is extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures, right? And the extraordinary times are just how hypergamous women are nowadays, right? They're dating way above their looks level, way above their means, and the men who are not at the top percentiles are left with nothing, right?
A couple months ago, Clav got frame mugged by the ASU frat leader, and this sent the entire community crazy. Androgenic, who's another influencer in the scene, who's friends with Clav, has also taken Looksmaxxing to the extreme, and we'll talk about it more later. But he went ahead to try and avenge his friend against this ASU frat leader.
ASU frat leader, I'm calling you out. I heard you talking shit. I'm coming to Arizona tomorrow. You better get frame mobbed.
I'm sorry, but this clip is just so funny. He's not even wearing the suit properly. Anyways, they meet this ASU frat leader and they see who has a better physique and who frame mugs. And if you don't know what frame mugging means, it's basically who has the wider shoulder and a broader frame.
Get in front of him. Get in front of him. Whoa.
You can tell they're joking about this and they're all probably good friends behind the scenes. But what isn't a joke is the damage they're doing to their bodies. Clav constantly uses drugs in order to look better. He even started taking steroids at age 14. If you're wondering how his parents felt, they were not supportive and they still aren't.
My dad said full-blown addict sad. My dad said that. Oh, Dad. Dad, I'm making money.
Recently in a live stream, he ended up being rushed to the hospital after suffering from an overdose. After this, he said he'd stopped taking drugs, which is a good sign. One thing all these Looksmaxxers like to do is bone smashing, which is where they take a blunt object or their fists and they strike repeatedly. The idea behind this is that the bone will repair itself and come back bigger and stronger, so they look better and have a more chiseled look. Repeated trauma to the face may cause soft tissue swelling and bony microfractures, but this does not lead to an improved appearance, and what ends up happening is scar tissue that forms, and possible nerve damage. The skin behind your face is super delicate, and harming it in this way could cause facial abnormalities and residual scars, which will become more apparent as they age and lose the soft tissue fat on their face. However, this still doesn't stop many people from doing it. As I was researching for this video, I looked at the comments on these bone smashing TikToks, and there's so many people that are bone smashing themselves, which is very sad and disturbing. This is basically the definition of self-harm, and they don't see any problem doing it, despite the many risks it has. Another type of Looksmaxxing these people do, that's not as harmful but it's still ridiculous, is frauding.
Yeah.
Why work out when you can just tape socks to your chest or whatever this
Your
part
delt,
of your delt?
Yeah.
Good, right?
Yep. Boom.
Ow.
Alright, wait, let's see. It's looking good.
Which is where they use artificial methods or techniques to appear more attractive. This can be wearing shoulder pads to have a wider frame, or wearing a wig to cover your hair. In this particular clip, Androgenic wasn't hiding his hair. He's been very transparent about it. But that hasn't stopped lots of people making fun of him and trying to snatch his wig in public, and it almost makes me feel kind of bad for him.
He's got a wig?
These men also apply makeup to look better, or to cover up the scars from bone smashing. Another obsession all these people have is with their height, which Clavicular openly talks about frauding through height boosters in his shoes, and even tiptoe maxing to appear taller. I'm going to make another video soon about how all of this actually backfires if your goal is to have a healthy, loving relationship with genuinely good women, because they will not tolerate or entertain an insecure man like this. Clavicular, despite being very tall, is still considering getting a limb lengthening surgery to become even taller. Getting a limb lengthening surgery is one of the most dangerous and high-risk surgeries you can take. You're unable to walk properly for months, and it can take up to a year to fully recover your legs. But because Clav wants to do whatever it takes, this does not faze him whatsoever. Clav has also openly talked about how he's infertile, and also how his lifespan will probably be shorter, due to all the stuff he has done to his body.
So right now, I am infertile.
It's sad that even being very good looking is not enough for him. He wants to keep harming his body to look better. Another thing even Clav has admitted himself is his very poor social skills and personality.
I don't know what girls like to do.
Are you autistic?
I'm
a little bit autistic, that's why I'm asking.
It was nice to meet you guys.
Why are you getting weird? I'm telling you that I'm also a little bit. That's why I'm asking you.
Oh, Okay. No, yeah, I'm just a little weird. Yeah, I'd say so. Hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm trying to work. I'm trying to practice a little bit. I'm sober right now, so I'm trying to improve.
You're such a liar. You're not sober.
No, I swear to God.
It's a different lifestyle.
Well, I'm gonna go take some Tren real quick
Yeah.
because I want to raise my libido, and it also makes me like kind of low end hip, you know. Yeah. All right. See you guys later. Nice to meet you. Oh, dude, I'm so bad at talking to people.
He suffers a lot from anxiety and has to take drugs in order to lower his inhibition. He also doesn't see the point of going on dates with women and having fun with friends. He doesn't care about forming a real, genuine, emotional connection with others, and instead only prioritizes superficial metrics like looks, money, how much women he has been with, which is such a sad and shallow way to live. I mean, what's the point of living life if it's not to enjoy it and be a good person? Let's talk about Androgenic, who gets in crazy scenarios just as much as Clav does.
Basically, based on that, I'm going to place you under arrest in relation to that for public nuisance.
In April, Androgenic got arrested in Brisbane, Australia, after a fight happened and he came in and pushed someone down, who apparently, from what I've seen others talking about, that lady was actually being aggressive, so Androgenic might not have been completely in the wrong. But afterwards, a random person came in and completely knocked him down.
I took a hit.
After this, he later got arrested and then released afterwards. He, like Clav, is also obsessed with looking better, and getting any surgery he can to achieve this never-ending goal.
The 3 surgeries have officially been booked. 18th of May. Stay tuned.
He also gets a lot of negative interactions in public, where people try to snatch his wig multiple times.
Yo, rumor has it this guy wears a wig. Yo, come here, buddy. Come on, let me see it. Dude, give me that. Come on. Dude, it's not that deep. Come on, let me see. Dude, I want to see what it looks like. Come on.
Anyways, these 3 surgeries he's taking will remove the buccal fat in his face. This was the aftermath of his surgery.
This is what I'm expected to wear during recovery. I'm a Teletubby. Is this a joke?
A lot of people say he purposely fakes his voice to sound deeper and more masculine, and when his wig got snatched, his real voice came out.
Antagonizes in that area.
Dude, what are you doing? Give it back now. Dude.
I think this has to be a joke because there's no way his real voice is like that. Androgenic also does purposely stage clips in order to go viral, which is a very smart strategy if your goal is maximizing virality. Beyond all the random silly clips, Androgenic has also made TikToks talking in depth about his whole philosophy regarding Looksmaxxing, which I found quite interesting.
Looksmaxxing isn't about identifying with your height, face, physique, and thinking that that's you. It's about avatar optimization. Like if I'm playing Fortnite and I've picked Bright Bomber as my skin, and then I decide, hey, I actually want to play as Black Knight instead. Does that mean that I hate Bright Bomber? No. And does it mean that I identify as Black Knight now? No. I'm still the guy behind the monitor, keyboard, and mouse. So it's the same with Looksmaxxing, right? We are the consciousness behind this avatar. And we should just try and upgrade our avatar to try win the game or whatever. And pretending like our avatar doesn't have an effect on the game is just delusional. Looks obviously matter.
I actually completely agreed with what he said. He's correct about how looks matter, and we should try looking our best. But the problem becomes that obsessing over your looks relentlessly will become your identity, and the reason you're doing that is driven by low self-esteem and insecurity, which is hidden behind your appearance. That low confidence is exactly what's causing you to go to extreme lengths to improve your looks, because you believe that your looks are not enough, to the point that you have to risk your health in order to be attractive. I'm going to talk about this point later in the video, that the intent behind Looksmaxxing matters more than the actions themselves. Another TikTok he made talks about how looks do matter, and everyone acts like it doesn't.
The line experiment perfectly explains why people deny that looks matter. In the line experiment, the subjects went against their own eyes and observation to agree with the cohort who purposely picked a false answer. That's what society does with looks. Everyone can see that attractive people get treated better. They get more relationships, more forgiveness, more respect, more opportunities. It's pretty obvious. But society just keeps repeating the same platitudes. Looks don't matter, just be confident, just be yourself. So people start ignoring their own observation because the socially acceptable answer feels better. But reality doesn't care about these copes, they don't care about what's socially acceptable. Looks aren't everything, but they obviously matter. Stop pretending the lines are the same length just because everyone else is saying it.
I think he's right about how looks matter, but anyone has the power to become attractive. Looks aren't the only thing that makes someone attractive. Anyone can become decently good looking, at the bare minimum, if they put effort into themselves, while not taking it too far. As I said before, the one thing that all these Looksmaxxers have in common is this deep-rooted insecurity, causing them to compare themselves constantly and endlessly try to improve how they look, so that they can be liked and happy. This issue probably stems from childhood, and then social media just amplify this even more. When you aren't spending enough time outside, you can become very absorbed on the internet and adopt or reinforce negative beliefs. COVID might have had an effect on this as well, because during this time people weren't socializing as much, and so this only became worse.
It makes no sense why Looksmaxxers would be mean. If you figure out that looks improve treatment, wouldn't you self-correct for that and then stop treating people differently based on how they look? I mean, that's what you'd think, but Looksmaxxers are all like usually traumatized, like they grew up being called ugly, and then they do what's called identification with the aggressor, where they basically just act out the trauma that happened to them on everyone else for the rest of their life as some kind of coping mechanism. But then I was like, wait a second. If I'm just letting some tiny traumatic experience where I got called ugly dictate the rest of my life's behaviors, I'm basically getting mogged by my own trauma. Like, what? How am I going to give that much power to some insignificant moment in the past? So after thinking that deeply about it, I was like, well, damn, I really don't want to be mogged. So I have to be a nice person. Otherwise, I'm going to have to bully myself. I think even if you're overweight, ugly, there's literally nothing that comes from hating yourself except negative outcomes. I think ultimately we should strive to improve ourselves, but that doesn't have to come from a place of hatred. Like if you have a child and that child is a drug addict and they're unathletic and they're not doing well in school, obviously you are still going to love that child, but you're going to try and reinforce positive encouragement for them to do better, get off drugs, try harder in school, maybe pick up a sport. Trying to improve something does not mean that you cannot love it as well. I love the way I look, and I still want to look better, and I love the way I am, and I still want to be a better person. It's that simple.
That's why even though these people have done some bad stuff, I don't entirely dislike them, because they are still people, and all they want is to be attractive and be seen as cool. From their perspective, they aren't trying to spread hate, it's just their flawed version of self-improvement. Everyone on this earth has this innate desire to be seen as important, and this is how they believe they'll achieve it. And in a sense, they have. They've got the fame, they've got the looks, the status, but if you look at them closely, you can see they aren't actually happy deep down. The reason why is that all of this superficial stuff doesn't actually bring happiness if you don't do the genuine inner work in order to be whole and happy. So, is Looksmaxxing bad or good? I think Looksmaxxing is fine when it's not taken to the extreme and it doesn't harm your body and instead helps it. So things like hitting the gym, eating clean, sleeping, using sunscreen, all of these help your body and make you look better. Another component that I believe matters is the reason behind why you do it. The intent behind Looksmaxxing matters much more than the action itself. So let's take wearing height increasing shoes for instance. It doesn't harm your body at all, so it's not physically bad for you. But are you doing it because you believe that without this, you'll be seen as unattractive? If yes, then I would say that this is not fine, and instead you need to work on changing your mindsets and beliefs. Another thing I want to bring up is that the internet, and algorithms specifically, portray these people in a much more negative way than they actually are. Because only the crazy, insane things that these people do end up going the most viral. And there are lots of wholesome moments that these people have, which shows that while yes, they do sometimes say or do dumb things, they are still nice people. Like, look at this clip of Androgenic meeting his fans. Androgenic! Or the time where he's holding a puppy.
It's mine now. What's your name, buddy?
I just got him yesterday.
Very cute. Cody, you're gonna grow up to do very good things.
There was also this one video I found where some people spotted Androgenic and they felt intimidated by him, and Androgenic actually commented saying he wasn't trying to be intimidating to anyone. There's lots more light-hearted clips I found, and I think it goes to show that they aren't as bad as they appear to be. I think watching these types of videos are fine if you don't take what they're saying regarding looks too seriously. Looks matter a lot less than what they make it out to be. What matters a lot more is depth, empathy, emotional connection, and energy, which you have complete power to improve. But these videos and the things that are said in these communities do instill self-sabotaging beliefs in people. And even I sometimes get doubt as well when watching these types of videos. And sometimes the things they say do sound truthful, even when it's not. But the problem is, it's much easier to take the shortcut of only improving superficial metrics like looks, money, status, rather than facing your insecurities and being vulnerable. And that's what these men choose instead. So if you want to become a more attractive person, you should focus on that. Working hard, learning to regulate your emotions, becoming more social, getting new hobbies, living a more enjoyable life. This will not only improve your relationships with other people, but you'll also have a lot more fun in life, and you'll be much happier about yourself for putting in the work. So, if you're someone who has self-doubt about their looks, or thinks they're unattractive, or maybe your mindset is like the people in these communities, you have the power to change that. You can change your mindset, improve yourself in a healthy way, become more confident, and ultimately more attractive. Anyways, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. I put a lot of effort into this one. Like, yeah, this took a long time to make, and yeah, let me know how you felt about this. If you made it to this point, then thank you for watching. Yeah, all right, bye guys.